We paid $625,000 for these 2 lots here. Now you might think that's a little crazy, but the combined value of these $2 million specs is going to be a $3 million sale price. Follow this journey and watch us build 2 beautiful spec homes here in Washington State. Behind me, you got lot 3, and then you have lot 2 right next to it. It's these 2 parcels. Each are approximately 20,000 square foot lots. We're building around 3,500 square foot homes. Lot 3 is going to be this beautiful farmhouse, traditional build here. And then you've got lot 2, which is going to be more modern. It's going to be darker colors, darker stones. We're going to have the 2 different mixes. It's in Salmon Creek, Philida area, which is in Vancouver, Washington. So it's the Salmon Creek neighborhood. All the homes in this area are between 1 and 1.6 million for the new builds. We've got one home right there that's 5 years old and sold for 1.2 million. Another home down the street that's 5 years old, built in 2020, sold for 1.335. We're thinking these 2 homes are gonna sell between 1.3 and 1.6 million. One of them we're gonna make a little bit nicer, the 3,500, and then this one's 3,400 square feet. On these 2 lots, we picked up both of these lots off market, meaning they were not listed on the MLS, but we did work with a real estate agent. The agreement was bring us some deals to the table. We'll give you the list back on these. So in this case, a real estate agent, if they're selling $3 million worth of real estate, they can make a good $75,000 of commissions. So that makes it much more motivating for a real estate agent to go in and bring more deal flow to a developer like myself. We're doing this project here first, and then we're gonna stagger the second lot. We're working on the financing just for the vertical side, so we bought the land for cash. We're gonna start this project approximately 2 months behind this build. Reason for it is we wanna just have a little bit of separation between the 2 when they get listed. First one will get listed, the second one will be wrapping up. By the time we close and sell this to a buyer, this one will be wrapping up as well. So super excited, you guys. Excited to show you guys Ashley Short Plat Lot 2 and 3. Let's get into it. We're gonna go through the entire process, start to finish, of us building out these 2 homes. The first thing you do when you get started is you wanna stake the property lines. Once you stake the property lines, then the surveyor comes out and actually stakes out the dig out. What they do is they stake the dig out a little bit wider than the foundation, so your excavator can get on site and do the actual dig out. After the stakeout is done for the excavator, he comes on site, he digs a setback from the actual foundation. As you can see, he dug out about 2 feet away from this foundation wall. The forms wouldn't be up yet, but the excavator came out, did his dig out, and he actually had to step it down. So because this is on a slightly sloped lot, what happens is we go here, drop it 2 feet, keep going, drop it 2 feet. Once the excavator does the dig out, we call the surveyor back and they do a hub and tack survey. Literally means they pinpoint every single corner. So if you can actually, we'll show you guys, but there is literal hammered hub and tack on each corner of this foundation. And now the foundation contractor knows exactly where to install these forms before we pour the concrete and remove the forms and have the foundation complete. And some of you might ask, how in the world are we paying $625,000 for 2 lots? It is a higher price. I typically pay a lot less in this area, but I always value it based on the comparables of what sold in the area. Because these homes, there's homes that sold for 1.2, 1.3, and then brand new 2025 builds are selling for 1.6 or 1.5 to 1.7 million. I'm gonna go with the 1.5 number. If I take 2 of these homes, that's $3 million. I don't pay more than 20% of that value, roughly. So if you take $3 million, 20% is 600 grand. I paid 625 as the seller wouldn't go lower. The original price the seller wanted was 700,000 for 2 lots. We got them down to 625. The deal still makes sense. Now, that's a rule of thumb. It's called the rule of 20. The value of the home, 20% is that land. What you really want to do is you want to take the value, the construction costs, and the land, and make sure that your profit margin, the actual return on investment, is at least 25% on the deal. Here, we're sitting at about a 30% profit margin at that 1.35 million. If we sell it for the 1.5 million, it's just that much of a better project. And nationwide, I've noticed, especially actually in the West Coast, the higher end homes that are specs, but have that price point of the 1 to 2 million are actually selling really well. We also do a lot of townhome product. 80% of what we built has been townhomes. This is gonna be something fun. We've built some 2.5 to 3,000 square foot homes. These are actually some of the biggest spec homes that we are building. We only built personal houses that are a little bit larger. but these are going to be some of the first spec homes that we're building that are worth over $1.2, $1.3 million. The good thing about this project here is it was already developed to finished lots. Finished lots are simply having all of the sewer, water, storm, power, all the utilities are at the property. And then in most cases, the county will require curb and sidewalk. In this case, the developer previously, who is a builder that's retired, ended up doing all the curb, all the utilities, paved half the street with pavement. So he did all of his work. I came in and purchased finished lots, got my permits done in 60 days and broke ground, and now I'm building. This project should take me less than 12 months start to finish, including the sale. The developer was doing this work for about 1 to 1.5 years beforehand. So again, buildable lot is you got sewer, you've got water, you've got power. Power is gonna be, you can have call before you dig spray where the utilities are existing. They'll spray red for power, blue for water, yellow for gas, and then they will also do green for sewer. And so got to make sure it's a buildable lot before you move forward and close on it. I do all of my due diligence ahead of time and then submit my building permits, and we're ready to rock and roll. This entire area is going to be the backyard. Because it's a half-acre parcel, we've got our patio. It's going to be a good size 20 by 20 patio covered, and then we'll have this entire backyard. We're going to landscape it, grass, etc. I saw some people throw in the comments on Instagram for us to maybe throw a pool in the backyard or a half basketball court or like pickleball or something. Maybe it'll fit. And then it has a beautiful view in the background as well. So what's gonna be really cool is we wanna make sure this is a nice hangout, maybe do a fire pit, and they can enjoy the beautiful view of the mountains and some homes in the distance. So we'll see what we're gonna do here with the backyard. We still got a pile of dirt. We gotta do some final grading before we start to plan the backyard. Maybe we can use some AI to give us some cool ideas as well. The goal is to build this project out in 6 months, but we're not gonna rush the schedule because these are nicer spec homes. Spec home is building a home, getting it ready and listing it on the open market because you're looking for a speculative buyer. So that's a spec home. Doesn't matter if you're doing it nicer or less nice, but this is gonna be a nicer home. We're gonna do some nicer finishes on it. So our goal is to get this done within a 6-month period. But if we're delayed because we're trying to make sure we have the right quality, the right finishes, the right design, it's not gonna affect us. We're gonna make sure we build the right product for this market. Follow below, comment what you wanna see on this specific project. Like, share, and subscribe. Looking forward to going through this entire project, start to finish, over the next 6 months.